What's the point of society?
It's actually to have fun. It's not really to struggle and suffer.
So this is a society in which leisure is prioritized.
Absolutely.
We're here at Twin Oaks, which is one of the oldest intentional communities in the United States. Today, there are over 1,000 cooperative living situations registered across the country. Although, to avoid the term commune with its summer of love associations, they prefer to be called intentional communities. Here in Louisa County, Virginia, thanks to lax zoning laws and low taxes, a weird little cluster of communes has sprung up in the heart of rural red state America. There are 7 within an hour of each other, each with their own philosophy and vibe. Apparently, the anarchists in Acorn throw the best parties. Twin Oaks was founded in 1967 by a group that included a tough-minded, decidedly unhippie-ish former secretary named Kat Kincaid. She and her co-founders were inspired by a science fiction novel called Walden 2. Written by the infamous psychologist B.F. Skinner, it described an egalitarian cooperative society. Most people found this novel extremely dull and dense, but Kincaid and her crew loved it. And when they found out no such society existed, they created their own. We're going to meet with Keenan Dakota, who's lived here the longest of anyone currently at Twin Oaks. We're hoping he can tell us a little bit more about how this community functions. So everyone specializes their labor to what they want to do and what they're most suited to do?
Yeah, that's the best thing about our system. I like doing construction. I like fixing things, and so I get to do that.
Twin Oaks is an income-sharing community, which is kind of like 100% taxation. When you move in, you still keep all your assets and debt as your own. Then once you arrive, you work around 40 hours a week, both at Twin Oaks and sometimes neighboring communities. And in return, you get everything: food, housing, healthcare, even a small monthly allowance to spend on things like booze, smokes, and chocolate. But there's no boss telling people what to do and when to do it, which means certain tougher gigs can sometimes need extra incentives. For instance, they've recently appointed a tofu morale manager to boost the happiness of the residents who spend their days hauling bags of soybeans. Keenan is free to work however and whenever he pleases because the community actually makes good money. They generate $600,000 a year in profit from what have to be the most stereotypical commune businesses you could imagine: tofu and hammocks. Where do you sell the tofu?
We sell the tofu to universities and to Whole Foods.
So to major buyers.
Yeah, apparently Whole Foods is going to start lowering their prices. So,
Are you worried about that?
well, then we can't sell our tofu for as much.
So you're not immune to the shocks of the market?
Indeed not.
For over 30 years, residents at Twin Oaks produced every hammock sold in Pier 1 imports, Kirstie Alley's favorite purveyor of reasonably priced bedazzled pillows. And they no longer work with Pier 1. The demand was too great for their small labor force. But they still produce hammocks that go for upwards of $120 a pop.
This is the chair shop. This is where once we've milled the wood, we put it together and we sand it down, we inspect it.
And did you know how to do any of this before you moved here?
Mm-mm. That's actually one of my favorite parts about Twin Oaks. It's like almost like a trade school. It's like you can come here and learn about gardening or woodworking or carpentry or animal husbandry or taking care of kids. It's like an endless list of things that you can learn and get better at. And if you want to take with you back into the world.
The average stay at Twin Oaks is 10 years, and most residents don't seem in a hurry to get back to the real world.
My parents were, go to school, get good grades, get into college, get a job. And a lot of millennials, a lot of people our age, in the mainstream, that's what they did all their lives, follow somebody else's plan.
I mean, that was one of the things that I fell in love with the most early on was basically the lack of hierarchy here. And I worked a lot of jobs up until here that, go through your grind and work up the ladder and say all the right things and all that bullshit. It's just a beautiful thing when you're working alongside people and not feeling like you're on this lower rung.
What is dating and sex like in a commune?
I think there's a lot less focus on monogamy in the commune than there is definitely in the mainstream, which is actually another reason that I wanted to live here, because I think there's a lot of problems with monogamy.
What about a male perspective?
When it comes to relationships here, they can be very tough. You can get into a relationship, and then when the relationship ends, if it's not on good terms, you're stuck with that person. They're here and they're ingrained in your life. You
And they
don't
might
wanna
start
go
dating your
anywhere.
best friend.
Sometimes the pool is exhausted and you're just waiting for new people to come around to see if there's anyone you click with.
Admission at Twin Oaks is rolling. To join, prospective members come for a 3-week visiting period and then give the community 1 month to decide on their application. The criteria seems to be mostly if they vibe with the rest of the community or not. Twin Oaks isn't looking to fill out some survivalist dream team. Most people learn all the skills they need to work on Twin Oaks after they arrive. Twin Oaks has endured not just because of disciplined work schedules and prudent spending, but because of their lucky partnerships with corporate America. Without Pier 1, they likely would have died out, along with so many other 1960s experiments in communal living. The great irony of residents' decision to opt out of mainstream capitalism is that they didn't really opt out at all. They just participate in a different way.
In the global war of ideas, capitalism has won. The other ideas have lost. And so what we're wrestling with in our global culture is what brand of capitalism is going to win. Twin Oaks runs capitalist business. We sell our stuff out in the mainstream market. What we are doing is taking the capitalist system and providing more direct, immediate control.
Isn't that fun?